Let's be honest, dating apps kind of suck right now if you're a regular guy. You're swiping, sending first messages, maybe even paying for premium features, and yet still getting almost nothing back. But I'm not here to rant about how broken online dating is. This also isn't some average guy gets wrecked by Tinder experiment. I'm here to give you real, honest answers. Because I've been there. I was a regular guy who thought that when I was ready to get into dating, that I could just walk into it and be successful. But that was anything but the truth. And after years of figuring this stuff out for myself, which led me to now doing this for other men, I've seen the same patterns play out over and over again. Most guys have no idea how dating apps work, what they actually reward, and how badly they're shooting themselves in the foot. So in this video, I'm going to break down why most guys get stuck, what they're getting wrong, and how to shift your mindset and strategy so you can start actually getting results. This isn't going to be some pity party, but it's also not a motivational speech either. It's real talk from someone who figured it out the hard way and now helps others do the same. Stick around if you're tired of wasting your time on dating apps, because by the end of this, you'll see exactly what's been holding you back and how to finally fix it. So here's the first thing you need to understand. Dating apps aren't personality tests, they're perception tests. And the truth is, online dating runs almost entirely on superficiality. Looks matter first and foremost. The better looking you are, the less effort you have to put in. I mean, you've seen it. Tall guys with model tier faces and Greek god physiques, or pretty boys can post mediocre photos with no bio and still get swiped. That's just reality. So okay, maybe that's not you. You're not a Chad. You're not tall or genetically blessed. I mean, look at me. And you know what? That's fine. You're not alone. That's most guys in the world. Welcome to the game. Just like how there's a correlation between attractiveness and how little effort is needed, the inverse is also true. If you're average looking, you need to put in more purposeful effort just to get baseline results. Because on dating apps, you're being judged on two things: your physical appearance and how well you present yourself through photos and text. And this is where most guys completely fumble. We got bathroom selfies, intense and overly edited shots, in a hotel room with your bros and a jug of Vaseline in the back, putting communist in your bio as a joke or not. In a visual first market, that kind of effort gets you less swiped within seconds. And here's where the algorithms come into play. Most dating apps don't punish you right out of the gate. You'll usually get a solid amount of early exposure. But what matters is what people do when they see your profile. If you're swiping like crazy and not getting any matches back, the app takes that as a signal. It assumes you're low value and it quietly starts burying you. Tinder is the most brutal about this. Once it flags your profile as low performing, it becomes basically impossible to recover without a complete reset. That's why you see those average guy experiments tanking hardest on Tinder. They think they're proving that the system is rigged, but what they're really showing is what happens when you launch with a bad product. I've reviewed hundreds of real profiles by this point and coached guys who are struggling, and the patterns are the same. The presentation is weak, the photos are unremarkable, and they have no strategy. It's not that they're unattractive, it's that they've made themselves unappealing without realizing it. The harsh truth is that most average guys are actually bottom tier prospects. They don't have many, if any, likes, and usually don't achieve anything meaningful past that. And it's not because they're inherently less valuable, but because they've chosen to walk into a competitive arena without preparing at all. The look is average, but the effort and game sense is completely below the bar. And instead of adjusting, they choose to be ignorant and try to overcompensate with more swipes. Look, you don't need to be hot to win on dating apps. There are plenty of normal average looking guys who have gotten results through online dating. Sometimes they get lucky by being in the right place at the right time. But that's not how it works for the vast majority of guys. If luck hasn't been on your side, then you need to make your own luck. And so another one of the biggest things holding guys back isn't just that dating apps are tough, it's that they start to internalize their bad results and build an entire belief system around them. You throw together what you think is a solid profile, swipe for a few days, and get nothing. It feels like rejection on autopilot. So you start asking the big questions. What am I doing wrong? Do women even want guys like me? And that's when the mental spiral kicks in. You build this narrative that you're just a victim of every societal problem at once. And sure, some of the complaints are real. Women do have more options than ever. Dating apps are designed to keep you swiping. And yeah, being tall, rich, ripped, or white gives you a leg up. And if you're not any of those, it can feel like you're invisible. But here's where things go sideways. You start thinking from the wrong perspective. Dude, you're not a Chad. You're also not a woman. So why are you taking their situations personally? Yeah, Chad gets swipes for reaving, and yeah, women can act entitled because they have more options than they know what to do with. But guess what? You're not that guy or gal. None of that changes your reality. You're not gonna wake up 6'3" or fix society overnight. Constantly comparing yourself to people with privilege just reinforces the idea that the game is unwinnable for you. Same goes for comparing yourself to friends or people you know who seem to just get better results. They're probably just as normal as you are, but you're subconsciously victimizing yourself just because you didn't accomplish something that they did. And if you truly believe that only a certain type of guy can succeed on dating apps, then watching these people win makes you an ignorant hypocrite. So instead of making those comparisons, how about you focus on your own process? Because the first person you need to be is past you. Because dating doesn't reward bitterness, it rewards progress. As a 5'7" Asian guy myself, I've had to deal with that head on because I've seen firsthand how bias can show up, both subtly and obviously. But here's the thing, letting all of these factors define your entire dating experience only puts a ceiling on what you think is possible. And once you accept that ceiling, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's where confirmation bias creeps in. When you're stuck, you look for answers. But instead of solutions, you end up finding content that just reaffirms your frustration. You hear, if you're not in the top 10% of men, you're going to struggle online dating. Unless you're Henry Cavill, dating apps don't make sense. Girls are only looking for 6'2", 6-figure salary, and perfect body and face. It all feels true because you're not doing well, so you hold on to it. But that's not truth. It's bitterness disguised as logic. And these takes are coming from people who feel frustrated, ignorant, and they can't even spell. But they want you to go down with them unless you magically grow a few inches or get some jaw surgery. And while you're fixated on believing in these statements, you're ignoring a key reality. Most women aren't even chasing that. There are plenty of normal, down-to-earth women out there who aren't trying to date some 6'4" finance bro. They just want someone like them, a normal guy with his life together and some personality. But even they aren't gonna swipe on someone with a trash profile. Most women still swipe instinctually. And while they might be complaining about dating apps too, it's usually not because they're getting too few matches, it's because they're getting way too many bad ones. Guys with weak profiles, no vibe, basic messages, or that act way too forward. That's what they're tired of. So if your presentation sucks, you're just adding to the noise and you'll lose out to other guys just like you who actually put in effort. Attraction is mostly looks matching. People tend to date those in their own lane. That's how the world has always worked. If everyone was only aiming for the top 1%, society would have collapsed by now. But it hasn't because the reality is most average people date other average people. Having an ignorant and emotional mindset keeps you from taking real action. You stop asking what you can actually improve. Instead, you fall into a loop where you rationalize your bad results by surrounding yourself with guys doing the exact same thing. That's how you end up watching those YouTube videos where an average guy tries Tinder as an experiment. The guy throws together a weak profile, swipes like a maniac, has a bad time, and then says, dating apps suck. I mean, look at those numbers, yo. Alright, show us the profile then. Somehow this becomes proof that dating is hopeless. Guys in the comment trauma bond over it, and instead of learning what not to do, they double down on the victim narrative. Now let's be brutally honest, some guys who get bad results don't actually want to get better, they want to be pitied. That's what we see in those dating app experiment videos. One guy gives up and says to just work on yourself, which you should be doing already. Another decides that he'll now become the dating app mad scientist at his own expense. So ask yourself this, are you watching this to get better or bitter? It's not that you're discouraged, it's that you've chosen to surround yourself with discouragement and call it truth. And I'm not saying this to judge. I've been there too. I've watched that kind of content before. I know all of the stats, heard plenty of sob stories, and listened to plenty of cynical takes, but none of it helped me improve. Things didn't change until I broke out of that feedback loop and looked at what I could actually control. This is not about pretending the dating landscape is perfect. It's about refusing to let external problems become your entire identity. If you want different results, stop blaming everything else and start moving forward anyway. Because at the end of the day, you're not a victim of anything. No one's coming to save you. And honestly, no one's supposed to. And so here's something a lot of guys don't want to hear. If you're getting 0 matches, 0 replies, and 0 traction on dating apps, it's not just bad luck, it's all you. And I don't say that to shame you. I say it because someone has to, and the sooner you face it, the sooner you can fix it. If you're using Hinge, Bumble, or Tinder in a decently populated city, your profile has been seen plenty of times already. These apps are built to get eyes on you at the very start. Even with bots in the mix, there are thousands of real women swiping every day. So if you're at 0, that's not random. That means your profile isn't appealing to any type of woman at all. So what does that mean? It's not that you're doomed forever, but it means that every part of your profile, including your photos, your bio, and your vibe, is off. It needs to be scrapped entirely. But most guys don't want to hear that. They treat it like a mystery or bad luck instead of a product problem. Must have been a win or some shit. This happens all the time. Guys are putting out bottom tier profiles with no thought or strategy, and instead of reflecting, they swipe more, pay for boosts, or complain in group chats. They confuse effort with progress and spin their wheels harder. I've reviewed hundreds of dating profiles by now through coaching, profile reviews, and content. And I can tell you that the average profile is so far below what it could be, and it's honestly kind of tragic. These aren't lazy guys. A lot of them are working professionals. They know how to clock in for a job and stay consistent. But for their dating life, they clock out. And sometimes I'll see examples of guys who have wasted years doing this. This guy spent 6 years getting no matches, and a year later still has the same result because he swapped out some bad pictures for ones of the same quality. This guy spent 4 years on 5 dating apps and still leads with a selfie while admitting he's not doing well in his bio. The dating market doesn't reward activity, it rewards execution. And that matters even more when you're average looking. This is also why those average guy dating Tinder experiment videos are so misleading. These guys go in with 0 preparation, use basic photos, random bios, have no plan, and are shocked when it flops. What did you expect? And then guys in the comments say something like, bro made a video about what we already know. That what? Bad pictures get bad results? But that's what happens when you lack self-awareness. You look at these outcomes and you think, yeah, same, instead of thinking, wait, What would happen if he actually tried? That's what self-awareness is. You have to look at your profile, call it garbage for getting 0 results, and then take out the trash. That's what I did. Most guys avoid that question because it forces them to admit that they haven't been really trying. But that's the shift. You don't have to stay stuck. You can learn this. You can fix your photos, rewrite your bio, and start messaging in a way that actually gets dates. You can study guys who aren't chads but still get dates because they cleaned up and showed up. You're looking at one right now. It's not about blaming yourself for everything, it's about owning what you can control. And when you start doing that, your whole mindset does. And then the right results will follow. And so after all that, here's the thing. If you're an average guy, meaning you're not tall, rich, model tier attractive, or some social media god, just know that you're playing a completely different game. You're competing with other average guys. Like, bro, have you seen your competition? They're not even trying. Their profiles are terrible. Their pictures are taken randomly with bad lighting, have 0 expression or style. Their prompts are lazy, and their messages are either corny or completely forgettable. Welcome to the midfield. Think of it like Formula 1. You're not Max Verstappen or driving a McLaren. You're not going for the podium. You're competing just to get some points on the table. You've already been running your own race and have been crashing and burning. So being able to get at least something is already exponentially better. And if you clean up your look, level up your photos, and present yourself with more clarity and polish, you can easily pass 50% of the field and probably more. And I can speak from experience because that's exactly what I did. I didn't try to be someone that I wasn't. I didn't fake my height or flex luxury. I just took what I had and made the best out of it. I developed myself physically. I taught myself photography. I tested which photos got more matches and which bios helped or hurt my profile. I refined my messaging and turned myself into a top tier version of an average guy. One who consistently got dates, options, and ultimately, my ideal relationship. And let's also kill the whole try hard shame narrative. There are guys out there who mock others for getting professional photos or putting real effort into their profiles, but secretly wish they were getting the same results. I've had people I know try to clown my process and then turn around and ask how they can reap the benefits. The truth is, most people don't want to see you level up. They'd rather see you stay real and struggle so they don't have to feel bad about their own lack of progress. And you know what? I don't F with that. I want people to know that I'm the biggest dating app tryhard out there. I threw my ego aside and took the time to really figure out how and what things worked. And I got exactly what I wanted out of it. Hell, I more than surpassed my own expectations. Who would have thought I'd go from barely getting laid to coaching other men on this? Sure, trying hard may seem cringe, but it's a competitive market. If women are judging you at face value, then why not give them a face worth judging well? A sharp, high-effort profile that brings in better options is worth 100 times more than the opinions of some random guy online trying to act too cool to care. You're not trying to impress men, are you? And remember, it's only cringe until it works. So no, you don't need to become a male model, but if you're average, you do need to outwork and outpresent yourself better than other average guys, because most of them aren't even trying. That's your edge. And so here's the last mindset shift I'll leave you with. Don't compare up, compare across. Stop thinking you need to be Chad or Brad Pitt to get results. You don't. You just need to be better than the bottom half. And with purposeful strategic improvement, you can have more than enough options to have a good dating life. And from there, you're not surviving anymore. You're winning. So if you've made it this far, I'll leave you with this. There are 2 types of average guys when it comes to online dating. One group gets discouraged, blames the system, and dives deeper into coping content. They tell themselves it's hopeless and calls that mindset the truth, and then decide that the next logical step is to just go out and meet women in real life. But let's be real, most guys who've reached this point aren't even the type to go out to talk to women in the first place. They're introverted, awkward, and avoidant. So the idea that they're suddenly going to flip a switch and start approaching strangers just like that is not realistic. Like, if you were going to meet someone organically in real life, it probably would have happened by now. Going out and cold approaching women sounds good in theory until you realize the odds are just as brutal, especially if you're not naturally outgoing or good looking. From my experience, it's way more effective to master your digital presence. There's no social anxiety, no emotional damage, just consistent, optimized effort that can actually get you results. And so there's that other group. They feel that same frustration, but instead of giving up, they ask, okay, so what can I actually do? That's the turning point. That's when things start to change. Because yes, dating apps can be brutal, but more often than not, the real issue isn't the app, it's skill issue. And just like any skill, you can level it up. You just need better inputs, which means better photos, better messaging, and a sharper mindset. I was that guy and now worked with others who started at rock bottom, which means no matches, no confidence, and no clue what they were doing. And after we fixed their profiles, cleaned up their presentation, and gave them a real strategy, the results flipped. Dates started happening. Options opened up. Their energy changed, and so did how they carried themselves. And that's why this matters. Not because dating should be your whole life, but because when this part works, it stops draining you. You stop overthinking. You stop questioning yourself. And you start showing up better in everything else you do. Because the goal shouldn't be to chase women forever. It should be to master this part of your life so it stops controlling you. Dating apps shouldn't take over your life. They should be just a means to an end. And so if you're ready to make a change and want my help to get you there, you can apply to work with me for the link below. I'll take care of the entire process and getting you ahead on dating apps. From taking appealing photos that bring out your best, a profile designed to get you more matches, and coaching to get you past the talking stages so you can get more dates and take them as far as you want. And this is all backed up with lifetime support from me as your dating confidant. So that's all for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment if you got something to say. Stay based, y'all.